Hello comrades, my name is Fritz and welcome back to F1 Challenge 99-02 and welcome to qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. Since 1970 the A1 ring here has been the heartland for Austrian Formula 1 heritage, and in 2014 it made a shocking return to the Formula 1 calendar, and it always hosts exciting racing every year. But today we're playing as Alessandro Zanardi in the Williams F1 car, and we're going to start qualifying at this legendary, very fast, very flowing circuit. I've made a few setup modifications to the car and we should be able to barnstorm a few laps around here before we head into the race. This 2.6 mile circuit boasts stunning elevation changes and corners that are incredibly tricky to get right. You don't want to understeer off and lose a lot of time when you could be carrying 20 or 30 miles an hour more through these very fast corners. And it provides a brilliant technical challenge for drivers and engineers alike when deciding what to put on the car in terms of setup and suspension adjustments and wing angles and so forth. The lap times are set to tumble throughout this qualifying session. We were lapping about 1:15 as we get that very wrong. It's so easy to get that corner wrong as we back our way into the pit lane. That was a bit embarrassing. It's very easy to get that corner wrong and very easy to spoil what could have been a very good lap had this not been an out lap at any point. I am running a very low downforce setup, so stuff like that might happen, especially if we get too far over the curb and push our luck a bit. Like that, we managed to hold it together that time with a minor hint of oversteer, but other than that, we should be okay. We should be looking good for qualifying today. We were 7th fastest in free practice 4, the last and most representative of all the practice sessions over the Grand Prix weekend here at Austria. So we're going to try and get about a 1:14, 1:15 odd. Maybe 1:15.5 is looking realistic for this setup, and then see where we can improve from there. If we can't, then we'll have to just take what we can get, and hope we can gain some places on that very treacherous run into turn 1 where the cars concertina up, and collisions will occur. We can just scoot through up the inside and hope for the best, really. And looking good so far. We were a bit slow. I think we're a bit slower than we were in qualifying. We're going to brake a bit harder here because we don't want to run too wide over the edges. There are our skid marks from the previous run. And getting a bit wide off the exit. 1:15, 1:16, 1:17 dead. Okay, well we got a bit of improvement to make, but hopefully we can do that without too much trouble. Not running as wide as we did out of the first corner. Like last time, we're trying to maximise the speed onto this back straight and pick the braking point for turn 2. This is where, rolling through the corners, this is where Nico Rosberg absolutely ploughed into Lewis Hamilton in last year's race, the 2016 Austrian Grand Prix. A blatant defensive manoeuvre that went horrifically wrong for Rosberg as he lost his front wing and had to settle for 2nd or 3rd place in that race. Hamilton making an incredibly brave move around the outside of that corner into turn 2 on the final lap of the race to take victory at the Austrian Grand Prix. Sadly, it wasn't enough for him to claim the world title as he was pipped at the very last moment by Nico Rosberg in Abu Dhabi. A few months down the line, we've got a car very fast behind us. We're going to play it safe through turn 4 or 5, I'm not sure which one it is. I need to learn these turn numbers as we take that far too quickly. And that's Riccardo Zonta and that's a 1:17.1. We're a 10th slower. This is not going so well for us today. It could be the new setup. However, we're going to try and go a bit quicker. We'll do a couple more sighting laps before we try and see where this gets us. Zonta very quick in the footwork Hart racing car, braking a bit late for that corner. That could have been a bit worse. We're 3/10 up on our previous sector time. This could bode well. I want to drop into the mid 1:16s by the end of this lap. This would be good. Taking our time into here and making sure we get the car stopped. A little bit janky on the exit. We need to tidy that up for the next lap. Other than that, it looks like we're doing okay here, trying to carry as much speed through these curves and this very tricky exit to this corner. I want to try and straight line it as much as possible. 3/10 up, Zonta is gaining on us, I think is a bit quicker. 2/10 up, we've lost a bit of time in that middle sector. Brake hard, let the back end grip. That's very good, nicely done. We don't carrying way too much speed into the final corner, we've spun it. We've ruined what was quite a good lap, as I said that we would have done there, and Zonta pulls into the pit. I was wondering why he didn't actually go past us, but we lost a good couple of seconds, and that's a 3.9 seconds following that spin. Let's see what we can do on this lap. I don't think it's going to be that much better. That's a 1:20, that is quite a poor lap time. Hopefully we can find some time. We're 10th, not as fast as we were in the first sector last time around. Can we get this corner ironed out? I think this is called Gossier curve, I'm not entirely sure. This is where Jean Lacey and Michael Schumacher battled it out. Schumacher having to take to the gravel to avoid a Lacey and knocking his front wing off in the process. A bit faster through there, that's not too bad, not too shabby at all. Can we improve our time? Very wide, find the apex, getting the car a little bit sideways on the curb. And there's finding more curb, accelerating out. Find the grip as we run up the hill, 0.300ths of a second faster, braking into the penultimate turn. Don't run too wide. Keep it conservative through the final corner. Open the taps onto the pit straight. Is it going to be a 1:17? It's 1:16.5. Not too bad at all. We can go a bit quicker. We'll try again. We rarely tend to use up all 12 laps in qualifying. The only time I've done that is with Silverstone, because I did know that I could push the car a bit further. And I did. Unfortunately, everyone else realised the same thing. We ended up qualifying round about 17th, which wasn't too great. And we're 3/10 down in Sector 1. We are only 2 laps. We only have 2 laps of fuel remaining in the fuel tank of our Williams Formula 1 car. I think we're going to head into the pits and try to make a few setup changes before we head over to the race. And press the S key to get our mechanics out into the pit lane and receive our car. As we follow, is this a McLaren? No, it's not sure. I think it's a Stuart Ford or a BAR. I can't quite remember. I really need to recognise my liveries. I'm good at recognising the current ones and the ones from the sort of the mid 2000s, but none from this era. They do get quite gaudy in places, and they tend to look a lot more striking. And whoa, as we spin into the entrance of the pit lane here, we've utterly Austin Powers'd our car at the mouth of the pit lane. Hopefully this won't cause an obstruction, and get the car into gear. Off we go again. We're fine. Nobody happened to come into the pit lane at that point. Excellent. Right, well, we'll see how qualifying unfolds from here, and I'll see you at the race. Here we are, about to begin the 1999 Austrian Grand Prix. After a relatively promising qualifying session, we qualified in 11th place, just behind the Ferrari of Eddie Irvine, I do believe. Now, on the run down to turn 1, we can no doubt break into that elusive top 10. So, without further ado, let's wait for the lights to go out. Here we are on the starting grid. There are the lights in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and lights out, away we go. 7 laps of Austria are underway, and the Jordan has got away from us a bit there. On the run down to turn 1, we're going to play last of the late breakers, soaring up the inside of the Ferrari. Hold the position up into 8th place. We've gained 3 places as we hunt down the Jordan of Heinz Harald Frentzen. We were dicing wheel to wheel. We were nip and tuck in Silverstone last time out. Can we do anything good? Because it's a 3-car overtake. There's our teammate. We're right up with the McLarens now. Frentzen tries for a dive. We cover him off. That was a slightly dodgy bit of driving from Frentzen. Maybe I should have given him more space, but I'll have a look at that on the replay at some point. Can we take the McLaren up the inside at Gossier? Yes, we can. David Coulthard, our championship rival. Coulthard goes wide. He's up on the Astro. We might not have another chance to tackle Coulthard, but it's only lap 1. Let's see what we can do. Stay with Coulthard. We might have a run in the turn 1 again. See if there's anything more we can add to this battle, this dice for the top 5, and maybe even find a podium position. Ralf Schumacher, our teammate, challenging him. challenging us rather. We've done very well to stay abreast of him throughout the early part of this season. As we move into the latter stages of the 1999 World Drivers' Championship, he remains somewhat hot on our heels. Race after race, he's got a good run into the final corner. Onto the start-finish straight now to begin lap 2 of 7 of the Austrian Grand Prix. There he is, running into turn 1. Can we catch Coulthard? Coulthard pulling out a gap, 2.1 seconds as of yet. Can we run him down? Can we mount any sort of charge and try to get 4th place off him? We had a very good run on him to go here. Maybe we should have been a bit more aggressive as we ran out of the corner, pulling out a bit of leeway to Ralf Schumacher. Almost a second, that's 0.8, 0.9, and fluctuating into the 0.1. There we are, that's 1 second. Bit late on the brakes into Gossier. Coulthard goes wide once again. Doesn't look like that's going to be advantageous to us at any point. I'm going to try and stay on his tail. He's being checked up by whoever that is ahead of us. It might be Barrichello. Barrichello has somehow snuck ahead of us in the championship as of yet, and getting very wide into there. Do not spin the car. Ralf Schumacher hot on our heels, covering him off now, hard on the brakes into the penultimate corner. Coulthard pulling away from us a little bit. Let's not worry too much about him. We just want to worry about keeping Ralf Schumacher behind us as we start lap 3 of the race. Let's stay consistent. We've done relatively well so far. Can we break into 4th place? This is the question that is on everybody's lips right now. Can we mount a charge? Let's find out. Hard on the brakes into turn 2. Get it stopped. Find the grip on the apex. There we go. The car pivoting around like it's on rails. We've really worked on the setup since the middle part of qualifying, and we've tried to maximise the amount of grip that we can get from the car. Braking late into Gossier. That's not gone so well. Coulthard, we've actually gained on him slightly by 1/10 of a second. That is not too bad at all. I think Barrichello is struggling. We've got a bit of a lag spike. We've gone very wide. Is Schumacher going to try? No, he's way back. He is way back. 0.7 of a second. That's not enough for him to mount any kind of offensive manoeuvre. And yes, it is. Yes, it is. We've gone very wide, covering him off on the exit. It's one defensive manoeuvre in the braking zone. That was a little bit cheeky from us. Not too proud of that. Can we block him off? We're going to brake a bit earlier there. Fox him out. Frentzen and Schumacher really nip and tuck for in the battle over 5th position. Can we pull out a gap? Another lag spike. This hasn't happened so far this season in Formula 1. There haven't been any kind of obvious technical difficulties apart from the slight audio glitches we had in that first episode. Is this a sign of terrible things to come now as the sky goes black? For whom the bell tolls, for whom the bell tolls, or rather for whom wet tyres are a necessity. It's less catchy, arguably. Down into Gossier once again. Coulthard pulling out a gap, 3 seconds dead. Bit wide into there. We carried a little bit too much speed. Are we going to see the first few splatters of rain? We had changeable conditions in Australia. We had changeable conditions at Manicourt. And we have changeable conditions now in Austria. Is this going to pose problems? I don't think it will. If the weather can hold true for the remainder of the race, braking hard into the penultimate corner. Very wide on the exit. We were so close to spinning it. We go very wide off the final corner and it's all over. It's all over. We've lost our rear wing. That's put us out of the race, I do believe. Do we still have a wing? Yes, no, we don't have a wing. That is a complete disaster. Spinning in front of the crowd here. We're going to have to go into the pits, but that's our race effectively run, I'm afraid. And God almighty, that looks like terminal damage for us. Can we get the car going? I would really like to finish the race. That is bitterly, bitterly disappointing. We were holding on so well, and unfortunately we did end up having issues here. We're going to parade around very slowly and try to limp our way back to the pits. This car is knackered. Well, I think that is our race run, I'm afraid. There's nothing really we can do from this position. and we're going to have to try and limp our way back to the pits and see if we can't sort something out from there. I don't know if rear wings can be changed in the 1999 rule regulation setup, and we're going so slowly and the rear end is breaking away from us. This is a disaster. Luca Padoa, 6 seconds behind. We're not quite in last place, although we may as well be as the back end breaks away from us once again. There really isn't much point in us continuing on with this race, but we're going to try and finish. Yeah, this isn't... No, that's not going to work at all. We should probably just end up parking into the gravel shop, but then we are... You can see we're actually a lap behind now. Whoa, that's deeply unfortunate for our championship hopes. It was going so well, we just caught too much runoff on the exit, and yeah, that spelt the end of our race. This is the first race we've DNF'd this season, and there's nothing we can do from this position. A bitterly disappointing Austrian Grand Prix for Zanardi. And hopefully that's something we won't repeat over the coming races. That is genuinely bitterly disappointing. We tried our best, and we pushed it a bit too hard ultimately. Wow, that was pretty intense. And that spells the end of this episode. I'll see you for what will hopefully be a better weekend next time out. I think it could be Spa. We might be heading into a spring break video-wise quite soon, but yeah, that's going to be that. Anyway, my name is Fritz, and I will of course see you on the other side.